What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode of the Hargests on Deck podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Ashley.
Yes, and we have been gone for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, we had some family emergency stuff, and we've been gone for almost a month.
I know.
And we're back now. And it was a little, some sad things that happened recently, and we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, we're glad to be back.
I know. We appreciate you guys because we shared a little bit of why we were going to be taking, we thought, just a week off. Mm-hmm. And so many of you messaged and were like, take all the time that you need, be with family. So thank you guys for just being understanding.
Yes.
And thanks for being here today.
Yes, we like I said, we're excited to be back here on the podcast, and we'll talk about what's been going on recently. We're hopefully not going to make it too much of a downer episode here, but that's just life right now.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll just jump straight into it. My grandfather has been sadly suffering from dementia for the past couple years now, and we knew that it wasn't long for him, but we were a little surprised on how fast things progressed. He, for the past, I guess, few months, has been at a nursing home, or
it was a memory care
facility. That's right.
Yeah.
A memory care facility, because my grandparents, they both live, they actually live with my parents. They added on to their house about, I don't know, 6 years ago. It's been a while, but time goes by fast these days. And so they were close, which is really great. But his dementia was getting worse and worse, and so they had to put him in a memory care facility. And we have been visiting here and there and just trying to just make the most of our time with him, even though he didn't really remember, much of who we were and of our boys, especially of our boys. I think, and this is something where I'm not too familiar when it comes to dementia or Alzheimer's or in those diseases, but I feel like he was still living, I think, 20 years in the past, because there were glimpses over the past year or so where he would remember who we were, but was surprised at how old we were. Like my dad, his son, he was looking at him. He thought he was the same age as my dad. He didn't realize, no, you're not. Greg, we're the same age. It's not possible. And he was thinking of me as way younger than 37. So anyway, it was tough going through that. But he had a fall in the memory care facility and had to get rushed to the hospital. And from there, things just progressed quickly. And we knew from the doctors were saying it wasn't going to be much time left. And so we had spent that first week that we were off at the hospital, as many times as possible to be with him. Mm-hmm. It was the last weekend of the boys' baseball season, which was a good timing to get to not have to worry about that, but to get to spend time with Pop. And family, aunts, uncles, cousins who live out of the state all came in and got to spend time with him. And it was sad, but it was sweet to get to spend time with everybody and relive memories, going through photographs and all that kind of stuff in preparation.
I learned so much about your grandpa that I didn't know. And honestly, about the whole family, just looking through old photo albums and writing like the eulogy and everything. Mm-hmm. I just learned so many things that I didn't know about. Yeah,
same here actually, which is kind of crazy. And it makes you really think about the time we have here on this earth. Because, he was my grandpa, and I, knew about certain things in his life, but in the last few years, especially with the dementia, it was hard to really get to know kind of his stories and really get to talk to him, because that's one thing that we got to do with your grandfather before he passed in 2020, which I really loved, is that we got to spend time and we actually recorded it. We have to go back and find that footage, but we spent time and we kind of interviewed him a little bit, or had him tell his story on camera. All the family kind of sat around, and it was good to just hear him tell his story about how he met your grandmother and
started with how he was born.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Which was quite a crazy birth
in the
story.
30s back in the day. And so anyway, it was cool to hear that on your side. And I hate that we didn't get to have a chance to do that with him, just because even if we did that in the hospital or whatever, he didn't have the memory like he did before. And it's one of those where I hate that we didn't have that time over the past 5 years, because they moved down from Maryland probably 5-6 years ago or so. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think it was around 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's time
maybe
flying.
It was closer to 6.
But and he still was kind of still losing his memory out that far out too. But you know, I just wish we could have had that time to get to talk to him and share stories and just hear about him, because he was always kind of, you know, to himself with his dog in the back when we would come over and visit. So, but
he loved to talk about baseball,
yes.
which was really cool for the boys because our boys love baseball.
Yes.
So even when we went to go visit him in the hospital the week before he passed away, he didn't remember, you know, he didn't know who we were, didn't remember much, but he did know how to talk about baseball.
Yes.
And so the boys came in, they came with us the first day that we went to go see him, and they were in their baseball uniforms. They had just come from their games. And so they got to talk to him about the positions that they play. And so that was a sweet time with that our boys got to have with Pop. And I think that was the last day that they saw him.
Yeah. Yeah,
So.
it was good because he was a big Pittsburgh Pirates fan, and our boys, since they've been playing baseball for the past 4 years, like we've talked in great detail for the past few podcasts, but they really started getting into it recently. And that's one of those things that I wish they could have shared more of. This is the first year they've really gotten into watching MLB, Major League Baseball games. And it would have been cool to see, you know, great grandson and great grandfather watching together, because that's all they want to do nowadays, which is awesome.
Your Pop never missed a Pirates game.
I know he was
right?
he
never missed a Pirates game or a Steelers game.
Exactly, and that was one thing we got to learn about my grandfather. Just like you said, writing the eulogy and just sharing stories with the family. It was cool to have that, and now our kids are obsessed with the Pittsburgh Pirates too, which that's been a family team for us in baseball, and of course Pittsburgh Steelers in football. And it's cool to have that connection because, you know, from my grandfather, my dad, me, and now my kids have all been really into watching those teams. And even though we haven't lived there and we don't, you know, really have any ties there ourselves, my grandparents lived out there a long time ago, and it's just carried on over the years. But yeah, we got to go over there and visit him, or the boys did, after a baseball game. And from then, we were over there in the hospital every other day or so, just trying to spend as much time as possible. And it was tough for anybody who's had to go through losing a loved one to dementia. It's tough to kind of see that process. And anyway, not to dive into all the details there. It was good to spend that time. We actually, Ashley and I got to go over and spend time with him and my grandmother, just the four of us, and get to try and speak to him about Jesus and just, you know, ask him, you know, what he thought about all that. And it was cool to have that time together alone, and share that with him before he passed. But like I said, we were there. It did progress quickly. We did have to move him into a hospice center after a few days in the hospital, and that was where he passed. And it was a whirlwind of emotions. But we're glad we got to spend time with the family and like you said, reminisce and look at pictures and it was crazy, just those memories flooding back of their old house in Maryland. And the day after he passed, is that when I think like Brandon's aunts, uncles, cousins started coming in to town. And so we were all at Brandon's parents' house and going through old photo albums, trying to put together a slideshow for his funeral. Yeah. And so as we were going through the albums, Omi, his grandma, was like telling stories, and him and Brandon and his cousins and sister, they were all talking about, you know, things back when they were growing up together as cousins. And it was just, I don't know, it was a really like, in such a difficult time, it was such a like sweet time with the family, those days after he passed, just everyone being together and just remembering just what a special
man that Pop was.
It was really cool. Learned a lot of things. I knew he was a pilot. He flew planes in the military, and they went all over. My my dad and his siblings, they were in Germany, Japan. My grandfather went to Vietnam twice. They were stationed all over. It was crazy to hear all the stories and just hear how, especially for my dad too, because my dad was a kid when all this is going on, and that was one other thing too I mentioned earlier, real quick, not to take a rabbit trail, talking about the time we have with family and friends while they're here. I'm sure my dad has tons of stories from when he was growing up, because we saw pictures of him as a baby, and then in Japan, because he was out there when they were stationed in Japan, and then like 2 years later, it was like the same greeting card from Japan, and it was him and his younger brother was the baby, and it was cool to see. They were in actual, like, literally the whole setting was definitely he was in Japan. They were in kimonos and everything. It was crazy. But just hearing, I need to do that with my dad. Just sit down and just talk to him and just tell me about your life as a kid, because that's one thing I wish we could have done more with my grandfather, with Pop, but I still have more family in that, and would love to do that. So take this as encouragement to spend time with your family when you can, because time is short here on this earth. So not to make us even more teary-eyed, but we are very grateful that family lives close. And we were talking about this I think yesterday. We were over at my parents' house. My parents live 15-20 minutes away. Your parents live even closer, 10 minutes away or so. All of our siblings are all real close. Even one of my grandmothers and one of your grandmothers live here. And so it's nice to have them around all the time. But a lot of people don't have that. Yeah. They don't have family that live right down the road where you can see them whenever you want to. And I heard something on, I don't even know what podcast or whatever, and I'm sure it's been passed around many times. But if you think about it, if you are, because we're almost in our 40s, which is weird to say. I know. But if you think about it, how many years left you have with your parents? And if you had parents that lived out of state, how often do you get to visit family out of state? Once, twice a year, maybe like on special occasions or, holidays. And if you think about it, how many years do you have left or so? If your parents were, in their 60s, 70s, whatever, let's say you had 10, 15 years left and you only visited them once or twice a year. Think about how many visits that is. If it's 10 years left they have on this earth, 10, 20 times left you will see your parents. I heard that before and I was like, wow. Really wanted to pick up the phone and be like, Mom, Dad, even though they're like
move back
15, 15 minutes down the road. But just think about that. It's crazy when you think, oh my goodness, that isn't that long. And like I said, make the most of that time while you have it, because it really is special just to get to be with family. And that's so important, more than work and projects you've got, and of course that can be applied to your kids too, because obviously you only have so many times with your kids. So anyway, I've been talking a lot about this.
No, I was actually just talking about that today with you, about how I love homeschooling, because I get to be with my kids more. And so I'm so thankful that we're able to do that, because time does go so fast.
It really does. And you mentioned earlier today, if they had to go to school, and leave the house every day, that's a lot of time you don't see them. And when you pick them up from school, or, they, whatever that is, school bus or whatever, when you see them again, there's only so many hours before bedtime, okay, we got to figure out dinner and homework and all that other stuff. And
couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
they're going to Vacation Bible School this week, and they're only there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I miss them so much.
which is it's funny, we never have like a break, and so this week it's kind of nice to have a few hours to where we can do things, and
we got to have a little like breakfast date this morning. That doesn't happen ever. We dropped the boys off at VBS and then went to go get some coffee and breakfast.
Yes.
And so, no, it was really nice.
It was nice.
But whenever we did pick them up, I felt like I hadn't seen them like all day, and it had only been 3 hours.
I know. So it is nice to have that for sure, because I can't imagine not being with them all the time. So hopefully they think the same thing about their parents. We'll see. But yeah, so that's why we've been missing for the past few weeks. The funeral, we're just making sure everything got done in time, because
it turned out amazing.
It did turn out really well.
It was a really sweet. Yeah.
It was one of those where a little bit stressful trying to figure everything out, because it was up to us, when a loved one passes. We've been to some funerals before, but this was kind of in, our family's hands, trying to make sure it went well. And my grandfather, when they moved down, they didn't know too many people in the area. And my grandmother really would love to have had somebody who led the funeral service that we knew. It was really cool. One of my best friends, Carter, he actually stepped up and offered to lead that service, which was amazing.
Yeah.
I was telling him, I was like, are you sure? Because, it's not like a normal thing somebody does, and it's like, hey, buddy, can you speak at my grandfather's funeral? That's not really a question usually, you ask somebody. But we had mentioned that we were trying to find someone, and he just kind of offered and was like, don't do it unless you mean it, because we're gonna probably take you up on this. And he did a fantastic job.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Carter needs to. Well, do a lot of things, but
yes.
he should do funerals.
It
was just the most incredible. I mean, he shared the gospel.
Yeah.
And it was so encouraging, and he just pointed people to truth.
Yeah.
And he did amazing. God truly used him and spoke through him. So we were so grateful.
We were so grateful, because that's what we wanted, the service to display was Jesus's love for us, and how important that decision is.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And he did a great job of that, and God definitely spoke through him. It was great. My dad, who's not super emotional, he usually doesn't really share too much in that. He got up and he spoke about his dad during the service. It was great to hear that. My cousins were up there talking. I actually played a few songs and sang,
which was so good.
Well, thank you. Yeah. It was a rough week, but
what 3 songs did you sing? Goodness of God?
Yep. Omi wanted me to sing that, my grandmother.
Mm-hmm. What else did you sing?
Amazing Grace.
Yes.
Which I sang that at your grandfather's funeral.
But you sang
Chris Tomlin's
version? Yeah, Chris Tomlin's version, because he has an extra
chorus.
Yeah, the chorus is
okay. It's different.
And then you sang.
And then my aunt wanted me to sing, or wanted I Can Only Imagine. She loved that song, and she was like,
it was so good.
So anyway, but it was good to get to, contribute to the funeral. So
then they had the military there.
Oh, that was another thing. Oh my goodness.
For the burial part.
Yes.
The military came, and that was amazing.
Well, again, going back to the planning of the funeral, there, like I said, there's so much stuff that has to get done, and we were just worried about timing. But that was another thing. He was, honorably discharged from the military, and he deserved to have what do they call it? Full honors? Yeah. Full honors at his funeral, and all that paperwork and everything. My grandmother, Omi, she actually, she was thinking ahead, because she actually had kind of purchased at the gravesite about 5 or 6 years ago, plot for her and my grandfather, just thinking ahead, and had already filled out most of the paperwork that would go into talking about, having the military come and do a full honors service with the 21 gun salute and presenting the flag and everything. And I'm so glad she did that, because in the moment, in trying to plan this, it's not fun to have to go and dig and find some things. And we still had to do some.
From when he passed to when the funeral was, it was less than a week.
Oh yeah, it was quick. And so there was a lot to figure out. And so when we found out that, we have your paperwork here from 2019, it was like, thank you God for making this happen, and just. It was nice and neat there. And anyway, having the military come, that was very emotional. When they presented the flag to Omi, and and the trumpet. Oh man, it was a good service. It was great to get to honor him and celebrate his life. And anyway, it's a sad but happy time to celebrate. And anyway, so that's where we've been for the past few weeks. And on a brighter note, we finished baseball, and we
don't know what to do with ourselves now.
I know, it's crazy. We have all this time now.
Somehow we're finding a way to fill up the schedule.
Yeah, we are. In fact, this month coming up is very busy for us, which we'll talk about in future podcasts because it's a few surprises that we have in store for the boys.
It's true.
Anyway, but we finished baseball. All 3 boys and all 3 of their teams all finished second place in all of their divisions, which is amazing. So they all got, at the awards ceremony, got presented, because first and second place got presented something. They all got a ring.
Like big old heavy duty, like those championship Super Bowl
ring.
Type rings.
Exactly. So they were all very excited about that. And we were too. They all did a great job. Some of the teams, they really fought hard in the last few games to get to second place, which was awesome. So very proud of them. And
it was a fun season.
Yeah, it was fun. And like I mentioned before, the boys are super into baseball now. Of course, the season's over, and that's all they want to do is play baseball and watch baseball, and which is awesome. As a dad, I love that. And so we're trying to figure out what we do next.
I know there's a golf program coming up, and then they're going to do soccer in the fall.
Yes.
So we have those things coming up as far as sports.
But I will say it is nice to have a little bit of a breather right now where it's not every single day going to the fields. And it's...
and we finished school.
Oh, yeah, school's
which
done.
Which is nice.
School's out for summer.
I think
it's forever. I don't know. Anyway, see, it's funny. Mentioning songs again... from the last conversation, we've had a lot of people watch that little reel I put out.
Yeah, that was very relatable, apparently.
It was relatable, and there's so many other songs that popped in my head as I, was thinking about that. But anyway, so the school's out. We're done with that, which is awesome.
We're still gonna like do some learning things throughout the summer because it's good for them. Reading,
it's good
stuff like that.
to have that summer school, I guess.
Yeah,
But and another cool thing, we had our little Beckham, our baby Beckham, just get a year older.
Oh, that's right.
He turned 7 years old
last week.
Last week, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great, fun birthday party, and it was nice because we went from the funeral and that whole couple weeks of being with my grandfather and after he passed, and we were able to celebrate him. We got to move into celebrating Beckham for his 7th birthday.
Yep. All he wanted to do was,
what do you think?
Play a baseball game, like a real baseball game, and have a concession stand.
Yes.
So we went out to the park, and that's what we did.
We did, and you went a little overboard, I think, in the concessions. I think it was awesome. It was great.
I never know how much like food and stuff to buy, and my fear is always not having enough, like if you host something. So I always just way overboard, unnecessary, and then we have so much left over, and some gets wasted because we can't eat it fast enough.
Exactly.
So we brought a whole lot of stuff home.
We did. You got all concession type food. You had a big old bucket of bubble gum. You had I keep saying sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, tons of bags of those, popcorn. We had chips and juice boxes and of course hot dogs. I made hot dogs.
This wasn't the healthiest menu,
obviously.
But
it was for the aesthetic.
It was for the children.
It was for that. But the thing with the hot dogs,
trying to make memories. Beckham said it was the best day ever. So
it was. He did say it was best birthday ever, which was like it made it all worth it. Because it was hot out there. We were afraid.
It was so hot.
Yeah, we were afraid it was going to rain. We were afraid that there was going to be soccer games happening all at the fields that we were at because we wanted to play a baseball game, and it all worked out great. But we were hot. It was humid. A lot of the food melted.
Yep.
We had a big old chocolate cake. Oh yeah, we had Baby Ruth's in a thing. Those were completely melted.
Yeah, the cake all melted.
I mean, the top.
It's like a lava cake.
It was a Costco cake, one of those chocolate cakes, which I love. I think I might be burned out eventually. Not yet, but I may. Because
I know we always do those big sheet cakes because they feed like great. 50 people.
But literally,
and they were supposed to be like 50 people.
We had a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Only like 10 people ate. So I was cutting the slices.
I think all our friends are too healthy for
this
concession menu.
They were too healthy, or they filled up on snacks before, or they were just like, that cake looks like it's just because the top layer kind of shifted because it was melting. It was still great. It tasted great. It was just, only 10 slices I cut. So we had a lot of cake to eat this past week. But it was a lot of fun. We had all these things for the kids. The baseball game was fun. We had some friends come and play. And so there was kids and adults. And
had a piñata.
Yeah, we had a piñata. That's right.
Had some cornhole out there.
That's right. So it was a fun day. And then, of course, at the park, we had there, the kids just went over afterwards to the little splash pad there and got to enjoy that.
Cool off a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. But that was a fun day. Beckham's birthday, which was awesome. So right into Memorial Day. So, but yeah, that's kind of what's been going on over the past few weeks. I'm trying to figure out, is there anything else that's happened that I'm missing?
I've unfortunately been in bed a lot, but
yes. Oh yeah, that's right.
We don't have to go into that, but that's right. Where the whole other, that's also part of why we haven't come back sooner.
Yes. So this is a roller coaster of emotion here, ups and downs.
No, I don't want to bring us back down.
Not to bring it down, but Ashley has been having a lot of pain still. We were hoping that things were getting a little bit better. When I say a little bit better, I don't mean better. I mean just a smidgen in the right direction, but it's not been great. And a lot of people don't understand. They don't realize what you're going through.
Oh, that's fine.
And I mean, literally the other day I was just trying to toss you something, like a ball or something. And I mean, her wrists are so bad right now that she wouldn't be able to catch with her hands anyway, because just the weight of, a little 1 pound ball or whatever would be bad. So
he has to help me get dressed.
Yeah.
He has to help me put on deodorant.
Yes.
Sometimes I can't brush my teeth because I can't
push the button
grip
the thing.
Toothbrush. So he's offered to brush my teeth before. He's brushed my hair. I can't wash my hair, so he offers to do that. Sometimes I just go a long time without washing. TMI. Thank goodness for dry shampoo.
Yeah, no, but it's we're smiling and laughing, but it is tough. It is a bummer because we have tried all kinds of things, and right now, we're not giving up on this diet that she's on right now. And I'd say diet, it's not really a diet; it's a different way of eating, which we've gone in great detail in another podcast. This lectin-free diet, we're hoping that it does something. It's supposed to be at least 9 months. At least that's what the lady who was helping you with. And how long has it been now?
I think almost 3 months, maybe 2.5.
Oh, I was hoping it was more like 5 months. We're hoping that something works there. You started back up with the hyperbaric oxygen chamber.
Yeah, I was doing that every day.
Yes.
For an hour for like a year and didn't see any improvement. So I kind of got discouraged and was like, am I wasting time? So I kind of stopped doing it while I was trying other things.
And it's been a busy season too.
Yeah. So. And, but I decided to give it another try.
Jump back into it.
Now that I'm doing this new diet thing and trying to figure out what combination of things will work.
Yeah.
So.
And hopefully, we're going to be going back to all the things that you were trying before and try and do them all at the same time or something. I don't know. We're going to try and get creative because it's been a rough go for a while now. And we're hoping that something clicks, at least a combination of things, because there's some things that we've tried in the past too that I don't think anybody's heard us talk about, but balancing your pH levels, that's something that when your grandfather, he was trying to do that in his final days
for his cancer. And it really
was working.
Helped him a lot for a while.
And I know that's different, and obviously cancer and then rheumatoid arthritis, but we're just trying anything and everything. Obviously we said
I've done a lot of things I haven't talked about.
I know.
Colonics.
Yeah. There's been, I forgot about that one.
It's been a lot of desperate things. What was the lady I went to for she had like that metal wand thing that,
I know.
Lymphatic drain.
Is that what it is? Is that what it's called? Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, I've done hundreds of things, but,
we're going to try that again, or not that, the ozone therapy.
Ozone, yeah.
We've been trying that.
And a lot of people have been messaging me, like on my personal Instagram, asking for updates on how I'm doing and stuff, because I just haven't shared much lately, and for multiple reasons. One being I just haven't found anything that's helped. So I feel like sharing things that I'm doing, if it's not helping me, I mean, maybe it would help someone else.
Sure.
But also I don't want to give someone like false hope and be like, try all these things. They don't work for me. But so when I find something that works for me, I will be shouting it from the rooftops, telling everybody. And then like, I just haven't been sharing many updates just because I feel like it's kind of just a downer of an update. And so I kind of sometimes don't know how to talk about it because it's hard to put into words.
Yeah. So
I just haven't been sharing much about my autoimmune stuff on my personal page, but more people have been asking, which is so sweet. And I'm very open to sharing about it, but just on my own, putting it out there, I've not quite known how to
talk about it.
So even though I've talked about it a lot in the past, but anyways, it's just more of a downer of a subject, I feel like.
Well, no, it's life, and that's what you're going through, and we want to be here to walk alongside you, to be praying for you, because that's another huge part of this. We want to know, because if we don't know, then we'll think no news is good news, and right now it's not. So
and there's two different sides to it, where it's physically so hard, but there's a whole other side to it that I mean, that's hard to put into words, what God's doing through it.
Sure.
And that side has been super encouraging and hopeful. And that is the only way that I've been able to like keep going. And so I want to share all that side of it.
Yeah.
And hopefully give people hope who are walking through the same thing. But anyways, it's just, there's a lot of different layers to it. So I just haven't talked about it much lately. But.
Well, that's something that hopefully we can figure out what's going on soon. And if not, we're going to be praying for you. So
I'm hopeful that one day, I'm telling you, I
can't wait. I can't wait for
that day. I will run out my front door and just take off running and just run throughout my neighborhood until my feet stop.
And I'll be hobbling on, trying to follow you, like, come back. I will say, not to switch gears and say, hey.
No, let's switch gears.
No,
I'm ready.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, as far as pain goes, just a quick little update on my back.
Yeah.
The nerve pain in my back, it's gone. Like
Amazing. That is such an answer to prayer.
It is, because for a while, almost a year now, I was thinking it's not going to get any better. And after 2 surgeries, I was thinking the second surgery, just like the first one, it's not going to get any better. It's not perfect 100%, where I'm back to normal.
He's not doing backflips.
No,
not
yet. At all. And getting out of bed sometimes in the morning, creaking and groaning, and it's tough. But the thing that's awesome is that the constant pain, like you were talking about, that 24/7, it's always there, that's gone, which is awesome.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. I still have muscle pain, which I'm okay with that, because my back was cut open twice. The muscles were cut, and so I understand that needs time to heal as well. And I'm hopeful that will heal.
You have a checkup tomorrow.
I have a checkup tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. And just hopefully he'll tell me, oh yeah, do this for your muscles, because the thing we've been focusing on was the nerve pain, and the nerve pain is gone, which is awesome. So,
I'm so excited.
Yes, me too. So that's a positive thing. I'm hoping that the same kind of healing will happen to you very soon.
I mean, we're both going to feel unstoppable.
I know. Amazing. Yes. But yeah, that's the health update. And it's hopefully brighter things ahead. But if not, it's okay. And that's where God has you, or has us.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And, there are truly so many incredible things through walking through hard times. So I don't want to just talk about the hard part of it, but
it's tough. And
God really shows a lot of grace and can use like these valleys for great things. And so I've been so encouraged by that. So it's not like all bad. It's really hard, and I am ready to be on the other side of it. But while I wait and continue to pray for healing, I truly believe that God is working all things together for my good, because he says he is.
Mm-hmm.
And that keeps me going, and it gives me so much hope. And just seeing, like, I've been able to physically see things that he's done through this and things he's taught me and how he's grown me. And that, like, I just wouldn't trade for anything. So,
and I know people who haven't gone through that pain and who are believers and believe that, you know, Jesus can heal you and God's promised, you know, that he will take care of you. And so it's probably hard for them to understand, oh, you're happy with that. You're like, that doesn't seem to be genuine. You're happy that you're going through these tough times, but it really is. I mean, if you haven't gone through some of these hard times you've gone through, just like it doesn't have to do with pain, it could be tough experiences in your life that if you didn't go through those hard times, it wouldn't have made you who the person you are, wouldn't have put you on the path that you're on as far as, you know, people you've met and experiences you've had or people that you've poured into, whether you knew about it or not, you know, whether God was using you to your knowledge, or people who kind of heard your story through social media and thought, oh, that's you know, that relates to me because I'm going through X, Y, and Z. It really is something that I can see as your husband, that you are appreciative of what you're going through. You're not mad at God for putting you in this position, which is something that people could easily slip into. Why, God, am I going through this?
And I've had all the emotions over the past 7 years of like anger, frustration, confusion, all of that. Like, but he's completely changed my outlook on walking through things, like hard things in this life. But I've definitely, had all those feelings. But
it is cool to see that, just see how you don't let it stop you. I mean, as far as obviously physically, there's only so much you can do, but you don't let it bring you down completely. And if anybody was looking from the outside, they would have no idea what you're going through, because you do a great job of just, God's in control. He's taking care of me. I don't have to worry about this. Yes, I'm in pain, but God's got this. And it's cool to see that as your husband. So,
well,
anyway,
I appreciate it. Yeah. That's truly only the grace of God getting me through, because on my own, I just am like a weak little person laid out on the floor. That's how I feel on my own.
I actually heard a story the other day. So Jeremy Renner, you know, Jeremy Renner, he was Hawkeye, or he is Hawkeye.
Oh, yeah.
So he had a crazy snow plow accident where I didn't realize how, you know, dangerous it was. He was on, I think, Jimmy Fallon or something, and was sharing the story. He was basically dead, like almost, broke. I don't remember how many bones in his body. It was horrific. Literally, he had eye out of his socket. He had, literally hearing him talk about how many bones were just completely shattered. I don't even know how he still looks like the same person, but he looks totally fine. He said one of the things about going through that was a perspective that he had. And he said, well, I'll never have a bad day again in the future, because he saw where he was and how he has been able to recover, and he's good now. He may not be running like he used to. Actually, I take it back. He is running now. They said he was never going to walk again. He's running now. He actually just had a sponsorship from a shoe company, talking about, running and stuff. But it's crazy to see, going through that. I will never have a bad day again, because I was on my deathbed, and I think it's grace of God there that it pulled him through, I'm sure. But it's cool to see that perspective of going through those times. It makes you appreciate what you have, just like what we talked about at the beginning, appreciating what we have with our family and friends, making the most of that while we have it here on this earth. So anyway, I like the little segue, little bow tie put on the whole thing. Anyway, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of the past month. So,
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
That's
it. That's all, folks.
But thank you so much for being with us and sticking around, hanging out. We're back. Although I say we're back, we do have lots of trips happening over the next 3 or 4 weeks. We're still planning on getting some of these podcasts in, but just be aware of that. We'll have some trips out there, and we're gonna try and squeeze in some shoots. But
gonna squeeze them in.
We are. Thank you for being here. If
Yes.
you are watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for being here. Drop a like, a comment, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. It helps us out. If you're listening to this, or if you didn't know about that, we are a podcast, an audio-only podcast as well, and you can listen to this on your drive into work wherever.
We hope our voices are smooth enough for you.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
And if you want to check that out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are distributed, we're there.
Wow.
And if we're not, tell us and we'll put it there if we're not there. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. We're dropping these every Wednesday, these podcasts, and we'd love to see you there. Seriously.
Apparently every Wednesday that we feel like, though.
Say what?
You said we're dropping them every Wednesday. I said apparently every Wednesday that we feel like dropping them.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
We had a time,
we're gonna do better.
Yes, we are gonna. Well, we said that before. We are doing better.
They never believe us, but it's fine.
No. We are doing better.
They don't have a reason to believe us.
Better than it was last year. Because last year it was crickets. So, but yes, keep checking us out. We also have Instagram, Hargests on Deck. There, we do a lot of reels there as well. And while you're on Instagram, check out Ashley's page at Ashley Hargest.
You're so nice.
She is almost to 100,000 followers.
That's my distraction from the pain page.
Yes.
That's what we call it.
Yes. So
that's where I just go to have fun.
Go check it out and see what she's doing over there. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, we will see you guys the next podcast.
Yeah.
Take care. Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.